Hey there, fellow city builders. Kodiak the Kodiak here, and I've got some exciting news for all of you City Skylines fans out there. The developers of City Skylines 2 have just dropped their latest developer insight titled Managing Traffic. But let me tell you, this insight is so much more than just traffic management tips. If you thought the dev diaries contained the most info, think again. These developer insights have been chock full of hidden gems, and today's insight is no exception. In this quick and informative video, we'll be diving deep into the world of traffic AI, and the developers have some mind-blowing features to share with us. Not only will you learn about the new details in traffic management, but you'll also discover exciting additions like district-specific services. But wait, there's more. The team has also introduced a game-changing feature, the ability to import or export every city service, from electricity to water. This opens up a whole new level of control and planning for all of us passionate mayors out there. I don't know about you, but I am buzzing with excitement for these incredible updates. The developer insights have truly been a treasure trove of information, and I'm here to break it all down for you. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any of these future insights and hidden gems. And of course, if there's something I missed, please make sure to leave a comment down below. All right, fellow urban planners, join me as we embark on this thrilling journey in the world of traffic AI in City Skylines 2. Get ready to unleash your creativity and take your cities to the next level. Okay, before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know that VLC is being very choppy with this video, so if you guys see any weird artifacting or anything like that, that's what that is. And secondly, there is a ton of breadcrumbs in this video that I didn't expect to get out of these dev insights. Honestly, I don't expect these dev insights to contain almost as much information as the dev diaries, because the dev diary is where they drop all the information, and then in these they just like confirm a ton of things, like all city services can be imported into the city, and we'll see that later in the video. But that's just a teaser of just one of the things that they showed off in this that I did not expect them to tease in the traffic AI dev insight video. So it's very cool. There's a lot of stuff, so let's buckle up. I'm gonna get right into it. You guys are gonna see me cut out sections that were in the previous video, so if you want to watch that, you can go back and look at that, or I'll put it in the annotation somewhere if you want to watch the previous video I did on the dev insight, or on the dev diary. Sorry, let's get started.
Let's talk about traffic AI.
Pathfinding consists of four major factors. The first one is time. The agents, all agents, be it citizens or trucks.
Before we go any further, because I pre-watched, obviously, first let's look at this hood scoop of this truck. I like the details they added to all of the vehicles in this game. They do look a lot more realistic. They look like some of the modded vehicle assets now, which is very nice, because when you looked at some of the modded vehicle assets in City Skylines 1 compared to the vanilla ones, there was a huge gap in quality. I really like the quality of these vehicles, and I think that they will be very nice to start with.
Anything in the city.
There's the artifacting, but look at this slowdown. Look at that smooth slowdown. Another thing is they were just talking about the balmy weather. It was a great time to stay in the outdoors in that chirper. And then we get our first look here at a citizen overview in the info view in the top left here. So we're actually able to see some facts about this citizen, Jennifer, where she is going to work. It says right there, her age is adult. She's highly educated. She lives in the Monroe family. And as we know, houses are no longer broken down into like the Maple residence. They have an address. It's 9 Maple Street. And then there's different families that live in that address. So for example, she's the Monroe family living in 9 Maple Street. The household's wealth is wealthy. Her occupation is an employee. She is a manager, and her employer is I don't know how to pronounce that. But what I find really interesting is over here, you can actually see where you can click up here. Now, my assumption is that you can click on the house and it will show you every family in the house, in the structure, right? So if it's like an apartment building, you can see every family that lives in that, my assumption. And then when you click on the family button, it'll show you all of the people in the family. So there's Jennifer, and there's probably somebody else that actually lives in the actual family household itself. So I find that really interesting. And then there's also this plus human button. I don't know what that is. Can't figure it out. I've been trying to think about it. If you guys think you know what it could possibly be, let me know down in the comments. But I'm very curious to find out what this plus person button does, because I find it very intriguing.
To the other, and this can be.
And right here, you can see citizens will try, they are highlighting over the employer. Citizens will try to find jobs that match their education, but if nothing else is available, they will settle for lower level jobs and lower wage, or seek further education. If a citizen can work any job level at their education, that their education allows. Higher education offers better job opportunities and higher wages. So this gives us a little bit of details about how the character AI is kind of like the actual Sims AI is kind of programmed to function, right? Where they, just like in Cities 1, they can work jobs that are a lower skill level, but they can work up to their maximum skill level. And they want that maximum skill level because it makes them get paid more. So cool thing to note. And then they clicked on their employer. And then it linked to this office building, and it says this complex office building is home to a number of insurance companies. Better say some sorry, just in case. Now, I believe that this is a special, one of those unique office buildings that we saw in the, I don't know if it was the original Dev Diary or if it was in the original game trailer, where they had like a little star over top of them, because this is called Encaserum, and it has a ton of buffs for your city. Look at these, city-wide, plus 1% office efficiency. Now, there's just no way, I don't see it being a way that every single office building adds +1 office efficiency. Now, maybe when they reach max level, this could be like a buff. I don't know, but I believe that this is a unique building that is potentially manually placed. And I get that because there's this button down here that looks like it's the move building button. I could be wrong, but that's what I assume that is. But anyways, this is the Encase Room. And we have a +1% office efficiency citywide, plus 5% interest in university education citywide from this building alone, plus 1% university graduation chance citywide. So there is a chance you might not graduate. So that's interesting. That's an interesting mechanic I didn't expect to have. And then we had +5 well-being within 1.5 kilometers. Now, I don't know what well-being is. I don't know if that's happiness or if that's a whole new statistic that's going to be in City Skylines too. We have efficiency here, employees, how many people work there, attractiveness, the company. Now, I don't know if there's multiple companies inside of these buildings either, so that's something to think about. Requires software and produces finance. So does that mean that we're going to have even more commercial resources than just, farming or oil? Like, does that mean that we're also going to have a software finance? We're going to have software developers, and then they make stuff that is consumed by other office buildings in order to make other products. So like, for example, this one consumes software and produces financial. Is that how the whole system works? And then other commercial good buildings maybe consume all that stuff and then produce other things? I find this very cool and very fascinating. I'm very interested to learn more about the actual simulation side of all of the resource management. So anyways, it does say down here that it's raining. You can't see any of the rain in the trailer, but we will see a little bit of rain at some point as well. As you guys can see, the VLC is absolutely destroying this video. It's just the best video player for me to be able to scrub through stuff. So we're gonna stick with VLC, but it's destroying it a little bit. So if you guys see that, that's what that is. But yeah, we got a lot of information just off this slide alone.
The speed of the road.
Also, I'm going to pause here. Just look at this. Like, I don't know if this is like a swamp or something, but you can see like there's like trees or submerged, like, or this is like algae or something. This looks so good.
Or the vehicle, or walking, or public transportation.
We've seen the public transportation tab before, but I'll just quickly go over it if you didn't watch any of my previous videos, which I highly suggest you do, because they're chock full of information. We've noticed a ton of stuff that's hidden in these videos. You can select which type of vehicle model you have, the length of the line, the stops, all that stuff. We have a nice new line tool. Honestly, it's very nice. Later in the video, we'll see the slider come up for the ticket price, and I'm just going to quickly and briefly go over it so we don't have to stop at that part. But basically, you increase the ticket price, wealthier citizens can take it, poorer citizens can't. Decrease it, you'll have more passengers. That's pretty much all it said. So let's move on.
And this is the major factor in deciding which way they want to travel.
So just a quick refresher before we move on to the next part. Pathfinding for Sims is not just quickest route. It is now, or shortest route necessarily. Before it was just whichever one was closer. Even if it had to take a longer travel distance, it was just point A to point B, which one's closer, straight line, draw through everything. That's the one that is like accepted. This one, there's a ton of options. So there's 4 different things. There is comfort, which is prioritized by senior citizens. There is time, which is prioritized by adults. There's cost, which is prioritized by teens. And then there is aggressive behavior chance, which is mostly, from I understand it, prioritized by emergency vehicles. So whether or not they're willing to make an aggressive turn or something like that. So those are the things that determine how a vehicle gets from point A to point B now. So that's just your refresher.
Another important factor in pathfinding is comfort, which means how many turns they have to make, how near the parking is there something else that affects their...
So he did just say that how many turns you have to make. So there's a lot of other factors that go into comfort than they discussed in the dev diary, which is very interesting. So I'm assuming there's a lot of things that go into what makes a drive comfortable. So I'm assuming just least amount of turns, consistent speeds, stuff like that. In here we see a little info view of cars, and there is now like a driver thing and how many passengers are in the vehicle. So because this is a 2-seater, there can only be 1 passenger, so we'll be able to see that this car's got like 4 or 5 people in it, right? If the vehicle can handle that. Where they're going to, so they're going to the in-case room, which is that building that we saw before, and this is Jennifer. We're still following Jennifer. She is driving a private vehicle. She the owner is her family, so the vehicles are owned by the family, which I find very interesting. So other members of the family can drive the car, is my assumption. So I think that's pretty cool.
Comfort.
And it'll also say when she gets out of the vehicle, you'll notice it kind of goes away. It says park. Look at those vehicles. The reflections on all the vehicles look so good.
Money is also an important factor in the pathfinding.
Money is usually about fuel costs for citizens, and it can also be ticket fees if they...
So here we get a good look at the transportation overview. I don't think we've seen this screen yet. We can see public transport and cargo. I believe this is the next dev diary. If it's not, it's coming up soon, the one on public transport and cargo transportation. So that'll be really cool. I'm very interested to see more about how public transportation works because we've seen so much about cars. How do we get rid of cars? How do we reduce the amount of cars? Well, public transport, baby. So we'll see what that's like in the next video, but we have a little sneak peek here at the actual tram line. So over here, it looks like we have buses, trains, trams. I think this is metro. Could also be trolley bus, but there's no overtop thing, so I'm assuming this is metro. Boat and then planes. Over here, we can see the lines, length, stop, trams, passengers, usage, color, power on, off, day, night, hide, I'm guessing, from the info view if you don't want to look at it. I think this actually probably takes you to the line if you click on the eyeglass and then delete line. So very interesting. Cool to see that its transportation overview is actually broken down into transport and cargo. So I'm very interested to see how all the cargo stuff works.
Use public transportation.
Oh, there was a little thing on assigned vehicles. I would like to read that. I didn't notice that the first time I watched this. Let's see if I can pause on it. Okay, I did not see this one. So assigned vehicles. Modify the number of vehicles on the line. Note that the maximum number of vehicles depends on the line's length. Okay, so there is a limit. Newly assigned vehicles are not active until they reach the line. Similarly, vehicles undergoing maintenance are inactive, so your tram vehicles have to go under maintenance, or any of your transportation vehicles. That's pretty cool. But remain assigned to the line. Transport line vehicle numbers can be globally adjusted by changing the transportation service budget, probably just like in City Skylines 1, where you can adjust the global budget and then the line budget. I find it very interesting that your vehicles can go under maintenance, because I guess if they're all under maintenance at the same time, you could have a huge transportation backup. And could that cause people to like decide, I don't want to take public transit, I'm going to go to my car instead, and then you'd have more car traffic. So this is just another layer of micromanagement that you're going to have to do in your cities that I am seeing a ton of trends towards in City Skylines 2. There is a lot of micromanagement in actual decision making in City Skylines 2 compared to City Skylines 1. I'm very excited for that as somebody who really enjoys the management side of the city builder game.
And then last but not least is the behavior. Most agents in the city follow all the normal traffic laws, ride on the right side of the road.
We mean correct side of the road. There are both left and right hand traffic available in City Skylines 2.
And don't
there you go.
make rash decisions in traffic. But certain vehicles, these being the emergency vehicles, can...
So over here we have the just a view of an ambulance. It does say which patient, who the patient is, where they're going, who owns it. So obviously it says hospital, but I'm assuming you could rename the hospitals and then that would update. And it's basically just telling you where it's going. Now, my assumption is because there's all these ambulances right here that they're potentially going to an accident. And one of the other things is we do get the classic City Skylines lane misalignment issue with, I don't know if this is like nodes or terrain height or whatever, but very common issue in City Skylines 1. Glad to see it's back in City Skylines 2.
Cases do more dangerous.
Oh, it looks like that's the curb. You can see the whole thing roll up here. Interesting.
Decisions in traffic, such as making.
I'm in love with all the leisure time opportunities the city provides. # entertainment. So in this chirp right here, does that mean that leisure from, I don't know, was it After Dark? Does that mean that is making a return in the base game where we're going to have leisure districts? Are there going to be specific leisure buildings? Is leisure going to be a resource? It's a very good question that I am interested to learn more about, and I hope I've piqued your interest as well. Police car, dispatch, police station, going to 16 Glade Street, and they have room for 2 passengers. There was also another chirp, CRI More. Your money is safe with us. Visit our new branch at 20 Cedar Lane. So there's clearly a bank. I don't know if there's going to be banking, if that's going to be a service that's going to be included in the base game, kind of like how they included Postal in City Skylines 2 with the Industries DLC, I think, is where the post offices came in. I wonder if banking is going to be a service that you're going to have to place for citizens. I'm curious how in-depth some of these services are, right? Because when we look at City Skylines 2 and all of the things that you need for your city, one of them, like, there's a bunch of stuff that got left out, right? Like, banks are all over the place, but I never saw one in City Skylines 2 until the finance DLC came out. So very interesting. I wonder if that's just an ad or if that's a hint or a sign towards something like finance being in the base game, which we already know there's a financial resource. So who knows?
Making U-turns and thus cutting the travel time to their destination if they are responding to emergencies. And sometimes some citizens can go through traffic lights on the old greens, so to speak, trying to sneak in on the last second before the traffic light turns to red.
I wonder if that'll lead to more accidents too. And if you guys are curious why I'm like potentially I'm stepping over some stuff that like they're talking about, or you think that might be relevant. Again, I covered all this stuff in the last video that they're talking about, as I did pre-watch this video. So if you guys are interested in what they're actually saying, I highly encourage you to go watch my last video that I uploaded on Traffic AI from the Dev Diary, where we go fully in depth on everything that they're saying. So look at the line of people right here as well. We have a hearse right here, even though it's totally being destroyed by VLC. And you know, the more I look at these sims, the more I am impressed with like how many different varieties there are and how different they look from the previous game.
Oh, traffic accidents. Oh, traffic, that's so cool feature.
We do get to see a really cool traffic accident right here. So if VLC gets a little fuzzy, you'll see a little edit right here. Otherwise, this is a very cool accident.
These can be caused by
there it
poor
goes.
Condition, lighting condition.
Nice. And it tells you all the vehicles that were involved in the accident. So when a car becomes a in accident mode, right, because we've learned from the previous video that they'll randomly get chosen if the road is chosen. If the road fails its safety check, a random car on the road will spin out. And if that car hits another car and that car hits another car, any car that's involved in the accident basically becomes a car ragdoll. And if that ragdoll hits another car, that's becoming part of the accident. So you can have a huge car pileup if they just start bouncing into one another. So very cool. We got to see one. I think it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the traffic accidents. I know some people, I've seen a bunch of you guys in the comments saying that you're like not that big a fan of it or it kind of worries you. I'm a big fan of it because I like managing stuff like that. So, but as long as it's done right, I think this will be a really cool and in-depth feature in City Skylines 2. This video is really highlighting all of the new management aspects that the first video did not talk about.
And natural disasters.
Did I hear that right? Did I hear that right? Wait a minute. Let's go back for a second.
Condition, lighting condition, weather, and natural disasters.
That's verbatim from the dev diary itself. But does that mean that we're getting natural disasters in the base game? What does that mean? Like, are we actually going to get them? Because this is the second time they've kind of touched on it. I know it's verbatim from the dev diary, but what DLC at this point isn't in the base game? I think that's the thing we need to ask ourselves. And if that's the case, what are they adding with DLC? Bikes? I mean, like, I hope bikes aren't behind a paywall, but it's like everything from the previous game that, you know, we saw, it seems like is just going to be included in the base game, if it was DLC or not, which is very cool.
Traffic accidents happen when the car loses control, which can also then lead to bigger traffic jams. To lower the chance of traffic accidents, the players can add traffic lights and also keep the roads in good condition.
All right, we're gonna get a cool look at an info view here.
Shows the overall state of the city's traffic.
We've already looked at this one. Traffic flow indicates how well vehicles are able to get around road segments with bad flow, places where vehicles are forced to slow down and likelihood of traffic jams is high. These locations require large roads or additional road connections.
The traffic volume.
There was a traffic volume one, but I think it might be too hard to read. Let's see if we can get it.
State of the city's traffic. It shows the traffic flow, the traffic.
Traffic volume indicates the number of vehicles using roads, upgrading heavily used high-volume roads to larger ones, and adding new arterial and collector roads helps traffic flow smoother. Wow, I like that they used the real language of arterial and collector roads because of road hierarchy. If any of you guys have watched City Planner Plays, shout out to Phil. Roads are broken down into a bunch of different categories. There's like local roads, there's collector roads, arterial roads, and then there's highways. I think there's four. I think there's probably more classifications, but that's a pretty good starting point for learning how road hierarchy works. And so that's really cool. I wonder if there will be an in-depth tutorial in game about how actual road hierarchy works. I think that's a really cool thing.
Etc. etc.
So in here, we are looking at the garbage truck here. It tells you who the owner is, how much industrial waste is stored, what they're doing, they're collecting, and there we go.
The road info view itself is kind of like two-parter. The one info view is about the whole city. Then you can also select individual.
So as he's saying, you can select individual streets and you'll get the info view of the actual street itself. Now, it does look like it's just the segments between intersections right here. Running out of fuel, visit our new gas station. Ooh, we got a new gas station ad. Citizens do need fuel, and that's part of the cost of driving. And so if that's too expensive and they're a teen, they'll probably take public transit, as we know. So I'm very curious to see how the fuel mechanic works. I wonder if that's just distance driven or if it has to do with speed too. I wonder if there's other factors to it. But over here on the left, we have the traffic info view, and it shows you the upkeep of the street, the length, the condition of the road. So percent average is 100% average, and right now the condition is anywhere between 85% and 96% on this strip of road. And remember, as that goes lower, there's a higher chance of traffic accidents occurring. Traffic flow and traffic volume, and it's based by time of day. So it looks like this street always has a pretty good traffic, or the same amount traffic flow, right about 50% traffic flow. And then during the time, let's try that again. During the different times of day, we have different traffic volume. So we have about anywhere between 80 and probably 90 at peak rush hours. Cars coming through per hour. So that's really interesting.
See their own road info view and all information about that more in depth. You can also see traffic flow and volume of that particular street or road.
There are different types of service vehicles. Some are responding to a call, like
over here we have an ambulance. Just more information about the ambulance up in the top left.
For example. And then there are some service vehicles which are just patrolling the city, like police cars or garbage vehicles which are collecting.
Owner incineration plant, so the incineration plant's making a return. So I'm gonna sneak this video segment somewhere in this video. If you're seeing this, I recorded this after I recorded the whole video. So Thorn in my Discord, which you guys can join down below, and shout out to them for noticing this, noticed this in the dev insight video was that this garbage truck specifically has industrial waste. So this one says specifically industrial waste up to 20 tons, industrial waste truck, owner industrial waste processing. So does that mean that garbage and industrial waste are separate resources that we now have to manage? So not only do we have garbage collection, we also have industrial waste. And does that mean that recycling is a whole nother can of worms? And right here is the other garbage vehicle. This is probably the part where I'm inserting it as like right after I mentioned this vehicle, is the garbage truck itself. It's owned by the incineration plant. And this one just says conventional garbage. It doesn't say industrial waste. Nowhere in here does it say industrial. So to my assumption, we're going to have industrial waste to also manage.
Choose from the district info panel which service buildings are.
That was a delivery vehicle. Did that have anything interesting in it?
Choose.
It does. So it says cargo, 4 tons. Looks like it's taking 4 tons worth of timber. Tells you its destination, who owns it, and that it's delivering.
District info panel, which service buildings are working in.
So in here, we now have the police headquarters, a large station house with administrative and staff facilities, a larger garbage and jail. Can be upgraded with an external garage, extra jail cells, and helipad that provides police helicopters. So the upkeep, efficiency, employees, arrested criminals, and then now they're going to go into the districts where you can just set service buildings to only do certain districts. So like, you'll see it where there'll be different districts, but there's a little hidden gem in this, and I want to show you guys it.
The district, they can choose the service building can work in multiple.
Right here. So I want to pause right here, and I want you guys to actually look at the districts. They all have very square edges. So does that mean that we no longer have to brush circles to draw our districts? Because thank God, first off, I would like to just pen tool my districts around. That would be much easier and much more, I don't know if efficient's the right word, but it'll be much easier to create precise districts now if that's the case, because these all have a very harsh edge to them, which is, I think, very nice.
Districts.
So they've selected just those 2 areas to have that police building.
Skylines one fence. It's one of my favorites, and it also helps manage the city a lot better because you can control where the city service is actually affecting. For example,
I agree 100%. This is a great addition
by the whole police. And
let's take a look at this shot. I mean, look at this. You got this nice low density over here. You got a cute water tower, and this is the university over here. You got all these row homes. This, I mean, game looks great.
The side of the city has different services. You can control where they are affecting.
Just like in
So that was the firehouse building, and there's actually something really important on it that I was not paying attention to.
Is actually affecting.
So the firehouse, a small station that houses a few fire engineers, also reduces the likelihood of fires being built in service buildings. Can be upgraded with upgraded garage, so you can upgrade that.
For example, if you want to have, you can control where they.
But it's this next one right here. So we have Linden Crossing. I don't know what's selected right now. I think it's the entire district. So this looks to be the district overview now. When you assign an operating distance to a service building, one becomes a district's local service, only servicing people within that district's borders. They will not go out the district. So if you don't have, like, if you have buildings outside of districts and you have all your things selected to districts, they won't go to it. Selecting a building on the list opens up its panel where you can see the building's information and building upgrades or unassigned buildings from districts. Now, if we look here, we have Linden Crossing. We have Happy. It's Happy. There looks to be policies. My assumption, this is policies. Households. How many households are here? How many residents are here? How many pets are here? So I wonder if there's going to be more stuff to do with pets in City Skylines 2. Average wealth, wealthy. Employees. Local services, and then it tells you all of the local services that are operating inside of this district. So that's pretty neat. And then they now click on the firefighting helicopter depot, which is right here. The base of operations for firefighting helicopters houses 5 firefighting helicopters ready to take off at a moment's notice, plus 3% of attractiveness citywide. So not only were those unique office buildings providing citywide buffs, so were the firefighting helicopter depots. So all of this is very, very cool.
Just like in City Skylines 1, City Skylines 2 also features traffic between other cities.
This is it right here. Outside connection electricity. Wind turbines aren't cutting it for you? Don't have enough money to buy a new power plant? Don't fear. Just import it. Brent, I'm in love with this, all this leisure time opportunity the city provides. So it's another leisure time opportunity here in the city. I find these very interesting. I'm very curious to see if there's like leisure requirements for city. I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Just like in City Skylines 1,
because I want to. There was, I think, another chirp.
Also features traffic between other.
We opened at 1 Beam Steel, or we opened I Beam Steel, 9 Middle Street, staffing industry jobs, I Beam Steel. Look at all these cool logos. I'm very impressed with all of the like little details, like all the ads and stuff and all the stuff like that.
Cities.
So they click on it, enabling electricity, import and export.
In the form of traffic.
Travel. Something's getting a little VLC. All right, 2-way road connection point for creating bus lines. Okay, so that's just the actual road connection one. We'll see that one later.
In the form of traffic traveling from one outside connection to the next.
All right, so this is the air line. So this is the air connection point. You can see these if you have mods in City Skylines 1. Now, I guess they're going to be available for everybody to see and click on, so that way you can actually see your city's outside connection. So it's an outside connection point for creating passenger airplane lines and cargo airplane rides. So it seems like the airport's DLC is at least somewhat included. I don't know about how customizable the airports will be, but there's some aspects of the airport's DLC that will at least be included in the base game.
These vehicles can contribute to the traffic in your city if they find a route cheaper and faster through the city instead of one of the highways.
If the player city is exporting certain city service vehicles at outside connection, the player can get monetary income from that exporting service. On the other hand, if the player is lacking some city service, they can import it from the outside connection, but for a fee, of course.
Great. So if you export stuff, you get money. Import stuff, you lose money. Easy peasy. Look at all these ads on the side of the buildings. Look great. So here we can see some rain. I don't want to pause it because VLC will destroy it, but...
Thanks for watching. You know, the cliche YouTube ending.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.
And that's pretty much it with the video. I, again, am just constantly, I'm constantly dumbfounded by how much info is in these Dev Insight videos. There's actually like a ton more than, I don't want to say a ton more. There's a ton more than I thought, and there is a lot more than I expected. I mean, it's great. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of all of the things we saw today? What do you guys think that's going to be in the next Dev Diary, which I believe is public transport and cargo transport as well. So what do you guys think about the resources? That's what I want to hear about. What are you guys' opinions on all of the new resources? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you aren't already. Ring the notification bell, because I pretty much am only uploading right now for these Dev Diary videos. And if you guys want a good breakdown every single week, I got them for you. I got them. All right. Have a good one, guys. And I will see you on Monday. Peace.